What's up, everyone? Well, I have to say, we are in a really strong bull market right now. The market is continuing to make new highs. In fact, this morning, the stock market made a record all-time high. Shares of Tesla, as you can imagine, are up, gosh, must be at least 20%, 25% over the last couple days. So if we jump onto the charts here, we'll start by looking at the S&P 500. We'll go over my trades for today, of course. S&P 500 here made all-time high up to 597. We're not quite over 600 yet, but really just making this impressive move. So from the lows back here of about 568 all the way up to just under 600. This is some real volatility. And shares of Tesla, as you could see, have moved quite a lot higher as well. So Tesla from the low just before the election, now up about 27% as of the high. Well, yeah, right about 27% as the high today. So no doubt, of course, as a result for Tesla of the election and the overall market benefiting from investor sentiment here that a conservative Republican president is going to be have policies that are more favorable for the stock market and for some of the large companies as well. So the short-term outlook right now, there's a lot of exuberance, there's a lot of excitement in the market, and money is moving around. Money is changing hands, and people are repositioning now for this Trump economy and Trump presidency that will begin in January. So the way I position myself this morning and is really no different from any other day. I'm sitting down and I'm looking for what stocks have breaking news, but I am cognizant of the fact that right now we've got a massive tailwind. And so with this big tailwind, it feels like everything just has this extra momentum to the upside. Now, I say everything, it's not entirely everything. There are a lot of stocks that are actually dropping. Chinese stocks are dropping. This is not going to be a good environment, most likely, for Chinese stocks with higher tariffs. Renewables are dropping as well. Of course, Trump being a bigger fan of oil, there's concern about what this means for renewable energy sources, solar companies, and so on and so forth. But there are a lot of companies that are moving higher. In the IWM, the Russell 2000 index is still up just under 6% since the election. So this domestic first policy, a more protective policy, as they say, that's going to be good for these smaller companies, especially the smaller American companies. Now, of course, there are international companies that are listed on the market that are small caps, and we do see a number of Chinese ones. I think those will struggle. But the tailwind right now is much appreciated after, coming off last year, which was a particularly difficult year for a lot of traders. I know a lot of people really struggled during 2022 and 2023 with the bear market, with the unprecedented increase in interest rates. And now, we had this momentum surging through October coming into the election, and that momentum is continuing. So this week has been, for me, a really strong week. I'm up over $100,000 in profit just this week. Today, slowest day of the week, $5,659.14. Now, I'll say right now, my results are not typical, and I don't want you to assume that you're going to achieve a similar result if you watch this episode, or maybe you go through my classes and you start trading tomorrow. It takes a lot of time to build this skill. I would say that most people who approach trading lose because they don't have a strategy, a system, or a set of rules that they're following. And then the second group of people who fail will fail because they don't have the discipline to follow the rules that they've been given. So I am happy to share with you my rules that I trade every single day. And I encourage you guys to check out, I'll post a link in the description for getting started. You can watch either my free day trading course, or you can do a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. Either one is you're welcome to do. And you'll certainly learn about my strategy and the rules that I follow every single day, but it doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful. One of the most important things will be your ability to have the discipline to follow the rules. And that does require you to bring to the table some certain aptitudes. I'm going to have an episode that I'll upload shortly, not today, but in the coming weeks, that I recorded when I was in Mexico, about some of those aptitudes that you really do need in order to be successful. So that's something to stay tuned for. It'll be coming soon. But anyways, so we'll pull up my calendar here for the month, or well, we can look at the whole month and then we can look at the week. So, well, we'll look at the month and the week is really the same, more or less. But we had one day last Friday, and that was a red day, max loss red day for me. So this Friday, I also remind myself, look, last Friday wasn't so good. Let's take it slow today. But 103,000 on the week coming into today, 5,000 in profit today. That puts me at 108,000 on the week and just under 100,000 on the month. And I'm still kind of leaning towards a goal of a $400,000 month. I don't think it's out of reach. I really don't. Now, it may not happen, but realistically, if I'm able to still hit $10, $15, $25,000 green days fairly consistently, I don't need to have any record-breaking green days this month to have a great month. So that's pretty exciting. Now, of course, if I do, that would be amazing. But I may not, and that's okay. I'm getting a little distracted because I see GV squeezing a little bit higher. This stock is up 92% right now, curling back to the halt level. Kind of interesting. I did not trade this one. It continued from a move on Friday or Thursday, popped up a little pre-market, but was really not that interesting, and then suddenly rips and halts up, goes to a second halt up, then halts down, bounces for a second, goes quite a bit lower, now rallying back up the double top. So you remember what I said about this little piggy pattern? This is a little piggy, and if you're buying that double top, you're being a greedy little piggy. You're going to get yourself in trouble. So there's some risk there because it's that double top, right? So I don't like that so much. But anyways, I sat down this morning, and the first stock I noticed was DEVS. This is a recent SPAC merger, special acquisition company that merged, and I don't really like SPACs at this point. We had DWAC, which was a good one. That became Trump Media. But generally, they weren't super great. They were for a little while, and then they stopped working, and I stopped trading them. Nonetheless, this began trading on the market after the merger yesterday, trading at $3. Sold off 50% down to about $1.20. Then it rallies all the way up to $9 on decent volume, but it just comes all the way back down. The problem with these companies is that insiders own the stock at $10 a share, way up here. So you've got that upside resistance. And I think that maybe there were some insiders that have been holding it for a while that decided to start selling today because there was clearly more selling volume than buying. It came all the way back down. So completely offset the move. And now we're back at $1.17. So I took 0 trades on it. I didn't trust it. I didn't like it. I didn't trade it. No real issue. I mean, the float under 10 million, the price here was fine. But in any case, by 7 a.m. when I was sitting down, it was already coming back down. It was well below VWAP. And then after I saw it was a SPAC merger and yesterday was the first day of trading, I recognized pretty quickly this wasn't going to be something that would probably work very well. So didn't take any trades on that. AGYF, I see this one moving up a little bit. We had some action on this earlier in the week, if you recall, up to 7, kind of grinding slowly back up here, which is an interesting pattern. SEZL on the scanner up 49% today, very light volume, but this is a stock that not too long ago IPO'd, had a big day, sold off, and then rallied back up. It went to a low of like, I don't know, what was that? $10 a share? Now it's all the way at $375. So that is quite impressive. But let's look at VMAR. That was the stock I did the best on today. So, and I'm sitting at $5,659.14. So daily goal, which is good. VMAR popped up after hours from 3 up to 475, pulled back, sold off, and then ripped up right here. I didn't see this coming right here. Not at all. I did see the stock this morning. I saw it was up like 20%, and we didn't have a lot of big gappers. So I did notice this one, but I didn't think much of it. And then suddenly it breaks VWAP with some real strength. And as it breaks through the volume weighted average price, that's where I took my first trades on it. So I got my first trade right in here. I wish I had gotten in this quick, and I pulled it up just a little too slowly. So I ended up buying at about 75 and adding up around 90, and we got this move up to 410. So locked up about $1,300 on the first trade. Then it flushes all the way down to 49. I bought the dip at 55. It bounces back up to 90, so I got out of that with profit. It goes sideways, and oops, oh no, did I close all my windows? Oh, such a pain. So it ends up going sideways there, and it does rally back up, which was good, but it ended up becoming very thickly traded very quickly. And I'm not sure exactly what the issue was, but there was just a wall of selling on it. It was just like there were just so many people selling. It just felt really difficult. So yeah, so unfortunately I just said, you know what, I'm gonna have to leave this alone. And I got a couple more trades on it, but they were relatively small trades. I just kept chipping away, picking up 1,000 here, 1,000 there, which realistically, any day I'm at my daily goal, it's a great day. But the problem with this one was it just kept having resistance at 450. It was not able to hold above this level here. So each time it would come up, I kept taking trades for the breakout, and then it would fail. And then there'd be a trade coming back up, and then it would fail. 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 And eventually I gave up and I said, this is just getting silly. It's just not pulling away. I did get one quick trade on Peggy, P-E-G-Y, Pineapple Energy. There was a headline this morning. I jumped in it. Not on the first pop. I actually waited for the curl. Although it popped up, it pulled back. I got in right here. It pops up, and then I stopped out. So I ended up making $300 on it, but that wasn't a big winner. And then I watched from the sidelines, on some of these stocks like GV, was watching Tesla on the sidelines as that was moving higher, just out of, interest and just being impressed that we're seeing such nice momentum. I mean, really, really impressive action here. Feeling a little bit of like coulda, woulda, shoulda, bought it the other day for a swing trade. But I sort of was like, well, sometimes when you get these big pops, they kind of fade back and fill the gap and prove they can hold before continuing. But this didn't even really do that at all. It's just continued to move higher. So anyways, that's fine. We're in a stronger market right now, which is good. And the main problem today was just that we didn't have a lot of really strong news catalysts. That's what I was hoping for. And we didn't have a lot that were really strong. I mean, it's not to say we didn't have any, because we did, but we didn't have as many as I would have liked. Now, I was just noticing in the chat here, for those of you guys who haven't been in our chat room before, one of the things that you can see are traders who have earned their badges. So Justin, he's got his 100K badge. Let's see, there's SJ's got his $2 million badge right there. So one of the things that is nice is being able to see through all these people chatting, who here has a badge and is still trading. Because sometimes what I notice is that, you'll have a lot of badge holders who are all trading at the same time because they see something they like. And then when they're done, they're kind of quiet. And it's like, who's still sitting here trading? And you'll notice it's a lot of beginner traders who are still, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with practicing and being in the simulator and everything. But I do think it's a good idea to kind of pay attention to what, successful traders are doing, traders who have proven profitability. So one of the things that's nice about the chat room is that we have those verified badges. So you can see, oh, this is someone who's made over $1 million trading, $2 million trading, whatever the case is. Maybe I weight their opinion a little differently from someone who just joined the community in the last 7 days. And we have a badge for new members in the last 7 days and new members in the last 90 days. So you can kind of get a bit of a sense. We also have a badge for people who have graduated from the classes and completed their final quiz. So you can see what they got as a score on that final exam. But anyways, I think I would just kind of mention some of the benefits of being in a community. And I do have a link that's posted in the top of the comments and the description, the Getting Started link, where you can either watch my free day trading course, or you could do a 2-week trial. And if you did the 2-week trial starting today, for instance, you would have 14 days. It's not just So you would still get the same amount of time, but you'd be able to spend some time this weekend going through some of the classes and studying. So you're kind of ready for Monday morning. So not a bad idea there. And man, this Tesla is just so strong. And you know what I think is going to happen is I'm sure there's people that have been shorting it and they're like, uh-oh, I am getting squeezed here. And it's understandable why someone would short this. Look, it's gone up 25%, 28%, almost 30% in, 3 trading sessions. There's the fundamental news is really just the relationship with Trump and the fact that Trump got elected. And then there's just this question of like, okay, well, where's the resistance? And now it's breaking through this resistance up here at 316. So then what's the next resistance? Well, maybe there's a little bit here. The way I look at this is I always look to the left and then up. So I would mark out this level right here, which is to the left and up. Oops, not that one. It's right here. So 318.50. And then above 318.50, you've got room here up to 332. And above that, you've got room up to that candle. Above that, you've got some room up towards here. Now there's a little bit right in here, but I don't know how significant that is. And then you start to get, I'll just go all the way to the top to here and here. So, it's kind of crazy how much the chart has changed from 400 down to $100. And now it's at 300 off the lows. So sentiment can really change quickly. 2 weeks ago we were closer to 200. So it's up 50% just in the last month and a half. Wow, that's wild. So I think this is definitely a stock to continue to pay attention to during the Trump administration. There's no question about it. SpaceX would also be a stock to pay attention to, but of course it's not publicly traded. You could probably get exposure to SpaceX through maybe certain companies that have a private equity stake in it, but it would be more difficult, I think. So, but thinking about what types of stocks are going to be benefiting from the Trump administration and what type of stocks are going to likely struggle is not a bad way to think about it. Of course, most novice investors are still better off just being in ETFs like the S&P 500 and just being diversified, because when you start getting into stock selection, individual stock selection, you could just make a bad call and you think Tesla's going to work and then it drops 50%. You don't really, if the S&P 500 dropped 50%, it would be a historic market drop, and it would be associated with pretty much there might be a small handful of stocks that are going up while the S&P is down, but it would pretty much everything is dropping at that point. When you put your money into an individual stock, whether it's an Amazon or Tesla or whatever, that's where you do have certainly more risk. And Amazon, I remember this one during the pandemic, it was really, really strong. And then this one lost 50% of its value, went from about $200 down to 80. Now it's back up to 200. But, that kind of drop, if your whole portfolio was in this one stock, and unfortunately, I know people that, that did put a lot of money into some of these stocks that did really well during the pandemic. Look at DocuSign. Well, that was a high of 300. It went down to about $40 a share. Zoom, right? ZM. Zoom's never going to get back to those highs. That's never going to happen, to $600 a share. This was a momentum trade. The value of the company didn't really match up with it. But if you held it thinking it would just come back, it's not good. It's not good. So you got to manage your risk. I don't know that it's a good idea to try to pick stocks that are going to do well during the Trump presidency if for any significant portion of your portfolio. I think that's a high risk move that even the best hedge funds in the world are going to try to do, and many of them won't outperform just being invested in the S&P 500. Statistically, that's what we know. So a novice investor, anyone who's a non-professional, you'd be naive to think that you're going to outperform some of these incredible hedge funds. It's kind of luck. So if you have a more discretionary account that you don't mind taking that kind of risk on, okay. But even for me, I feel much more confident in my skill to be able to produce $1 million a year day trading than my ability to produce $1 million a year from choosing long-term investments. I mean, we all find our niche, but I just find it's easier to predict what a stock is going to do over the next 10, 15, 20 minutes than over the next 10, 15, 20 days. So I focus on the short-term trades. All right, so let's see. So, and as we sit right now, FOXO, this one, big move from the other day, sold off all the way back down to 35 cents, rallied back up. We buy, this one was a penny stock from yesterday that made a big move. But again, that kind of round trip, so it didn't hold up. So definitely a market where if you've got profit, it's not a bad idea to take some off the table and to pay yourself. And I'm trying to, on the one hand, especially with these trades on vmar, I was stepping up. I was trying to trade and catch some nice breakouts, but it just kept not happening. So I had to take the profit when it started to slow down and then get back in. And I'm glad I did that, because if I hadn't, I'd probably be red on the stock. So instead of a red day, it's a green day, locking up the daily goal. Amazing first week of November, and I'm excited for Monday morning. We've got 2 days off, but the good news is I have some uploads coming here to YouTube over the weekend. So I hope you guys are subscribed to the channel so you see those uploads as soon as they get posted, and I'll be back at it live streaming Monday morning for members at Warrior Trading. I'll remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk, take it slow. The market will be here for you, and I'll see you back here on Monday.